you'll see that it looks very similar to a tray flip, except a few key differences. The back foot is still in the scooping position, but it's way far back on the tip of the tail. That's usually something that I don't really do, and I'll explain why I do that in a minute. Front foot, kind of like a middle of the board kickflip position, but it's further off the board than it usually is. And the reason why I set up this way, for one, the back foot, it's important to really have it on the very tip of the tail because you really want to have the foot in a good position to really get directly under the board. For the front foot, I like to have it very close to the edge so that it just kind of slips off very easy. You want to really put pressure on this trick, kind of like how I explained in my no comply tutorial. You're really putting pressure on the back foot to pop, and then the front foot's keeping it from popping until you decide to really bring the front foot off, and it gives you this powerful pop. And it's kind of the same concept in this trick. You want to really put the pressure on the back foot and just have the front foot as a placeholder until you're ready to actually pop. You just kind of bring it off to the side. So that's the kind of pressure you really need to bring with this trick. The reason why I like to have the back foot on the very tip of the tail is because it helps you really get under the board. You're gonna pop it and you're gonna scrape really hard and just really aim to get your back foot directly under the board, and you're just whipping it around. You're just whipping it completely vertical, and with your back foot you're gonna make a vertical circular motion, just whipping it and guiding it around. And I think the most difficult part is just getting it vertical. It's very unusual to do a trick that makes the board basically doing a backflip, an entire backflip, if you would like to think of it that way, because most flip tricks, the board is doing somewhat of a barrel roll or a horizontal type of rotation, and in this trick you're trying to make it go as vertical as possible. So it's really about keeping that tight pressure, and once you finally pop, you're going to get a real rough scrape to go directly under the board and just guide it all the way back around. As soon as it comes back around, this isn't really the trick that you catch typically per se, because in most flip tricks, the board is running wild until one foot catches it. But in this case, your back foot's guiding it completely all the way around until it's done rotating, and then both feet finally hit it and you land back on it. And I think the main problem with this trick is, one, getting that vertical rotation, and two, just making sure that it actually will wrap around your foot. It's all about making the board go in a direction that it doesn't really go in any other trick. That's what kind of makes this unique. Just the family of impossibles, whether it's just a regular impossible, a front foot impossible, whichever impossible you're trying to do, it really goes in a vertical motion, and that's what makes it unique. Kind of difficult, and I guess justifies the name, right? It's not impossible to do, but you know, when you take a look at it, it can be kind of intimidating. So that's really what the impossible is about, and it can be kind of troublesome to get this to work. But if you can learn something like a 3 shove and get that horizontally, then this trick is kind of an extension of that. It's really just about still using that wraparound motion, but completely vertical. So I would recommend taking a look at my 360 shove tutorial. The concept's very similar. So hopefully that gives you guys some insight into this trick. Make sure your back foot's on the tip of the tail with the toes hanging off, ready to just scrape under and just guide the board around. Have the front foot ready to go out to the side and just let it do its thing.